I've always believed that money reveals people's true characters. After 30 years as CEO of one of the country's largest private investment firms, I'd seen wealth turn saints into demons, but nothing prepared me for Melissa. The engagement party was in full swing at my son Michael's penthouse apartment. Crystal glasses clinked, designer dresses swished, and fake laughter echoed off marble walls. I stood in my simple white dress, watching my future daughter-in-law work the room like a politician at a fundraiser. Miranda. Melissa's voice carried the artificial sweetness I'd grown to recognize. She air-kissed my cheeks, her red lipstick perfectly applied. We need to have a little chat about the wedding. I noticed my son Michael hovering nearby, looking anxious. He'd always been sensitive about money, perhaps because I'd raised him to earn his own way rather than rely on my fortune. As far as he knew, I was just a moderately successful investment advisor. The truth about my wealth was known only to my lawyers and trustees. Of course, dear, I smiled politely. What's on your mind? Melissa linked her arm through mine, steering me toward a quieter corner. I found it, the perfect wedding dress. It's a one-of-a-kind piece from Paris. The designer is a dear friend. How wonderful! I kept my voice neutral, already sensing where this was heading. It's rather exclusive. She paused for effect. $80,000. But absolutely worth every penny for your only son's wedding, don't you think? Michael's face paled. Mel, honey, we discussed this. Hush, darling. She waved him off. This is between me and my future mother-in-law. After all, it's tradition for the mother-in-law to buy the dress. I took a slow sip of my champagne. I'm not familiar with that tradition, Melissa. Oh, all the best families do it. She laughed that tinkling laugh that never reached her eyes. Besides, you wouldn't want people talking about how you couldn't provide properly for your new daughter, would you? The room seemed quiet, though perhaps that was just my focused attention on this moment. I think Michael and you should choose a dress within your budget. Her smile froze. Excuse me? Your budget, I repeated calmly. The one you and Michael set for your wedding. I'm contributing the agreed-upon amount for the venue, as discussed. But this is different. Her voice rose slightly. This is my dream dress. Michael, tell her. My son shifted uncomfortably. Mom, if you could help. We pay you back. No, I kept my voice firm but kind. You both have good jobs. If you want an $80,000 dress, you can save for it. Melissa's facade cracked. Save for it? Save for it? She gripped her wine glass tighter. Do you know who I am? My family's name? I know exactly who you are, dear, including the fact that her family's supposed wealth was mostly smoke and mirrors, though she didn't need to know I'd had her thoroughly investigated months ago. You bitter old woman. The mask fell completely. You're just jealous because you never had a beautiful wedding. Michael told me you got married in a courthouse. I had married in a courthouse and built a billion-dollar empire while everyone underestimated me, but she didn't need to know that either. Not yet. Melissa, please. Michael started. No. She was causing a scene now, her voice carrying across the room. Your mother is a stingy, selfish witch. She probably has money hidden away, hoarding it while her own son's fiancé has to compromise on her special day. If she only knew about the video I'd recorded last week after overhearing her tell her friend about her plans to access the family money once she was married. The video that would be played at the trust fund reading, the trust fund she thought she'd be receiving as a wedding gift. I think you need to calm down, I said quietly. That's when she did it. With a screech of rage, Melissa threw her full glass of red wine at my white dress. There. Now you know how it feels to have something ruined. The room gasped. Michael grabbed her arm. Melissa, what are you doing? I stood there, red wine dripping down my dress, and felt an odd sense of satisfaction. Because this moment, this very public display, was exactly what I needed. Security, I said calmly. 2 men in suits appeared instantly, not the building security as everyone assumed, but my personal team. Please escort Miss Thompson out. You can't throw me out, she struggled as they approached. This is my engagement party. Michael, do something. But Michael was staring at me, then at the wine stain, then at his fiancée. I saw something shift in his eyes, perhaps the first real glimpse of who he was about to marry. Mel, he said softly, I think you should leave. What? But she's ruining everything. She's just a middle-class nobody, whoa. Actually, I interrupted, pulling out my phone and pressing a button. I'm the majority shareholder of the company that just foreclosed on your father's properties, but we can discuss that at another time. Her face went white. What are you talking about? Security, please. I nodded to my team. As they led her toward the door, I added, oh, and Melissa? The trust fund papers you've been so excited about. They'll be ready for viewing next week. I think you'll find the video message illuminating. After she was gone, leaving behind only the echo of her protests and the smell of spilled wine, Michael turned to me. Mom, what's really going on? I looked at my son, knowing it was finally time for some truths. Let's talk in private, dear. There's quite a lot you need to know about your mother's middle-class business acumen. The guests buzzed with whispers as we left the room, but I didn't care. Sometimes the best lessons about money and character come at the cost of a ruined white dress. The morning after the engagement party, I sat in my private office, not the modest financial advisor's space I showed clients, but my real headquarters on the top floor of downtown's most prestigious building. The wall of windows offered a commanding view of the city I quietly helped build. Mrs. Kingston. My assistant's voice came through the intercom. Your son is here. Send him in. I closed the file I'd been reviewing. Ironically, it contained the complete financial history of Melissa's family's decline. Michael entered, looking like he hadn't slept. He stopped short, taking in the massive office with its elegant furnishings and a wall of international awards, all bearing my name. Mom, his voice cracked slightly. What is all this? This, I gestured around, is what I actually do for a living. Please sit down. He sank into one of the leather chairs, his eyes fixed on the CEO nameplate on my desk. Kingston International Holdings. You're not just a shareholder, are you? You're the founder and CEO, yes. I pulled out a thick folder. And now it's time you understood exactly what that means. But all these years, we lived in a normal house. I went to public school. You made me work summer jobs. I smiled. Because I wanted you to learn the value of work, not the entitlement of wealth. Just like my father taught me. Grandfather. Michael frowned. But he was just a high school teacher who taught economics and invested brilliantly on the side. When he died, he left me two things: seed money and knowledge. I built this empire from that foundation. I opened the folder, spreading out documents. Your grandfather believed wealth shouldn't change who you are, only what you can accomplish. That's why I've lived the way I have, why I raised you the way I did. And Melissa. His voice hardened slightly at her name. You knew about her family. I know everything about the Thompson family. I handed him a report. Their company has been failing for years. They've been keeping up appearances with loans and creative accounting. Last month, they tried to secure financing using fraudulent collateral. Michael read through the papers, his face growing paler. She must have known. She knew. That's why she's been desperate to access what she thinks is our family money. I played the audio recording from my phone. Melissa's voice clear as she told her friend about her plans to secure the bag once she married into my family. Oh God. Michael put his head in his hands. I've been such a fool. No, I touched his arm. You've been trusting. There's a difference. The trust fund she kept talking about doesn't exist, at least not in the way she thinks. I pulled out another document. This is your actual trust fund. It's been growing since the day you were born, but it comes with conditions. He read through the terms. The fund would only be accessible after he demonstrated 5 years of successful independent career growth, maintained a stable personal life, and completed an extensive financial management course. You've met most of these conditions already, I said proudly. Your software development career, your savings habits, your general character, all your own achievements, not because of my money. But now what? He looked lost. The wedding invitations were sent out yesterday morning, before the party. Fortunately, I had a contingency plan for that too. I pressed my intercom. Send in Mr. Roberts, please. My head of PR entered, carrying a press release. Everything's ready, Mrs. Kingston. We can announce the wedding's cancellation, citing a mutual decision to pursue different paths. All major publications will run it tomorrow. And the video? I asked. Prepare for the trust fund meeting next week. Though after last night's display, we might not need it. Michael looked between us. Video? I nodded to Mr. Roberts, who pulled up a recording on the office's main screen. There was Melissa at various society events mocking my middle-class lifestyle, bragging about how she acts as the family fortune, even discussing plans to push me into retirement once she had control. She never knew about my security team, I explained. They've been documenting everything for months. I think I'm going to be sick. Michael stood, pacing. All this time, but wait, what about her designer friend? The wedding dress. I pulled up another file on my tablet. No such friend exists. The dress she wanted belongs to a major fashion house. They confirmed she's been telling them you pay for it directly. Classic confidence scheme, Mr. Roberts added. She's pulled similar stunts before, just on a smaller scale. Michael stopped pacing. Mom, why didn't you tell me all this sooner? About any of it? I stood walking to the window. Because you needed to see it for yourself. If I had revealed everything earlier, you might have always wondered if I'd interfered unnecessarily. Sometimes the hardest lessons are the ones we have to learn firsthand. Like the lesson you taught me about working for what I want. Exactly. I turned back to him. Money is a tool, Michael, not a personality trait. Your grandfather taught me that, and I've tried to teach you the same. The wine on your dress last night, he managed a small smile. You didn't even flinch. Designer clothes can be replaced. Character cannot. Mr. Roberts cleared his throat. Mrs. Kingston, we should discuss the timeline for the announcements. Of course. I handed Michael one final document. This is the complete file on the Thompson family's financial situation. Read it. Understand it. Consider it your first lesson in what we really do here. He took the file, then suddenly hugged me tight. Thank you, Mom, for everything, the lessons, the protection, even the summer jobs. Especially the summer jobs, I smiled. Now how about lunch? There's a hot dog stand outside your first office building that I've always wanted to try. Michael laughed, his first real laugh since last night. The CEO of Kingston International Holdings wants street hot dogs. The CEO of Kingston International Holdings wants to have lunch with her son, I corrected. The hot dogs are just a bonus. As we left the office, my assistant handed me another report, the Thompson family's latest desperate attempt to save their company. I tucked it away for later. Right now, my priority was helping my son heal and learn from this experience. Because sometimes the most valuable things in life aren't written in trust fund documents or measured in designer dress prices. Sometimes they're found in moments like this, walking with your child, sharing simple food, and knowing that while money can buy many things, it can't buy the wisdom to use it well. 1 week later, I sat in my conference room, watching Melissa's face as my lawyers played the video evidence of her schemes. Her perfect makeup couldn't hide her growing pallor as her own words echoed through the room. As you can see, my lead attorney concluded, any legal action would be ill-advised. Mrs. Kingston has been quite generous in offering to handle the wedding cancellation announcements discreetly. Melissa's father, once proud and pompous, seemed to have aged years and days. This is all a misunderstanding, he stammered. Melissa was just caught, I finished quietly, just like your company was caught using fraudulent collateral. Please, Melissa finally spoke, her voice lacking its usual arrogance. You don't understand. Our family name is worth exactly what you've made it worth. I opened a folder. However, I'm prepared to offer you a choice. Both Thompsons leaned forward eagerly. Option 1. You sign these papers agreeing to never contact my family again, and I'll arrange refinancing for your company with legitimate terms and oversight. And Option 2, Mr. Thompson asked. I let the fraud charges proceed and your family name becomes famous for something entirely different. Melissa's hands shook as she reached for the papers. You planned this all along, didn't you? Even that white dress at the party. I planned to protect my son. I corrected. The dress was just a bonus. Sometimes the best lessons leave a stain. After they left, Michael entered the conference room. He'd insisted on watching from the adjacent office. That was intense. That was business. I started gathering the documents. Sometimes kindness and consequences can coexist. The refinancing offer was kind, he agreed. After everything they did. Revenge is expensive, I said, quoting my father. Good business is priceless. We walked to the elevator together, and I noticed how differently he carried himself now, more aware, more focused. Mom, he said as we descended, I'm ready to learn, really learn, about all of this. I smiled. Good. Because that trust fund has one more condition we haven't discussed. What's that? You'll need to earn your way into the company, starting from entry level, just like I did. He grinned. Let me guess, no special treatment. Well, I adjusted my jacket. Maybe we'll skip the hot dog cart lunch breaks. Once was enough. We both laughed, and I felt the last tension from the past weeks dissolve. My son had learned valuable lessons about money, love, and character, lessons that would serve him better than any trust fund. As we reached the lobby, my phone buzzed with news. The Thompson refinancing was already being processed. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's showing others a better way forward, even if they don't deserve it. Ready for your first real lesson? I asked Michael. Always, he replied. Just promise me one thing. What's that? No more white dresses at business meetings. I linked my arm through his. Deal. Now, let's go build something worthy of that trust fund you're going to earn. Because in the end, it was never about the money. It was about the wisdom to use it well, the strength to stand firm, and the courage to wear white to a party where you know someone might throw wine.